afternoon and welcome back to Sport and Area. I'm Lakey and I'm joined by my co-host, the wonderful Arv, me too.
Hello,
and we're absolutely overjoyed to be joined by Amar Kayani, who's a boxer from middleweight boxer. Is that right?
Yeah, super welterweight, light middleweight. Yep.
Super middleweight, light welterweight. He's joining us for an interview this evening. We're going to find out a little bit about you and, so people can discover about you, the fighter, and, what you're hoping to do with your career. We thought it'd be a really good idea if we can do it via the Zoom meeting, because we were saying before the recording started, we do a lot of these over WhatsApp on the radio, but we're trying to sort of move across more to video recording now, so the listeners can actually see you as well, which is quite a nice nice thing for them to be able to do, put a face to the voice. So what we thought would be good is if we can find out a little bit, how did you about you? So you're based in Slough.
I live in Slough. Yep. First, thank you guys for having me on. Obviously, thank you for giving me your platform to tell my story on. And I'm from Slough, but I train in High Wycombe at the moment.
High Wycombe, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice part of the world. Nice part of the world.
Yes.
I'm down in the south, but Arv, you're up in the cold regions of the north of England, aren't you, mate?
Yeah, Midlands.
Midlands.
Yeah.
Boy,
I've got some on Wolverhampton and that, so it's
not I know that. I know that way. Yeah, not too far from me.
Okay.
Yeah, people when you say Midlands, people always presume you're from Birmingham, but I'm not from Birmingham. I'm the other side of Birmingham.
All right.
Yeah.
You're near Birmingham then?
Yeah, I'm near about 15, 16 miles.
Oh, that's not bad. It's nearby.
Yeah, a place called Hales, I win.
Oh, okay.
Nice. You ever heard of that?
Nah.
That's why I say Birmingham. No one's ever heard of it.
Yeah, makes sense. Like sometimes no one's heard of Slough. But obviously, a lot of people down here have, but normally if you're from up north, you haven't really heard of Slough. So I just say, London or
London. Yeah.
Not
Gatwick, Brighton, that kind of thing. But
yeah.
What we thought would be good before we get so tell us, how long have you been boxing for? How long have you been participating in this lovely art?
So me personally, I started boxing about 10 years ago. But obviously, when I first started boxing, it wasn't for the right reasons. I just started boxing because, as a young kid, you want to know how to fight. You want to know how to handle yourself. So going into
understand.
I had a bit of issues, like I was like that scrawny kid. I used to always get picked on by the bigger guys. So at a young age, I thought, I need to learn how to defend myself a little bit. My brothers and cousins were all really big guys, and me, I was quite scrawny and skinny. So
yeah.
The boxing club. My older brother actually took me to the boxing club. I nagged him till he took me. We went down. I did a first month. I loved it, and then after that, I've been boxing since, man.
Nice. Did you have any amateur fights or anything?
Amateur fights. I didn't have a lot of amateur fights. I had about 35. So I mean, in comparison to the fighters nowadays, they have like 90 and 100 and whatnot.
That's still quite a few fights, though. Yeah,
it's not too bad. Considering, I mean, I entered like the national title. Like I only really started boxing serious in 2016 when I ended up winning the Class B Development Championships. I won the nationals just like by training part time with my coach. So after that, I thought, you know what, I'm half decent at this. Then after that, I started looking as a career. But yeah, before that, I was kind of boxing for the wrong reasons. I think we'll go more into that later if you want to. But I was boxing for the wrong.
I'm going to say to you, it's always good to sort of have about 35 fights more than have 100 and odd fights, because if you're going to go professional, you don't want to have over too many fights in the amateurs. Because when you come professional, your career it will be over before it started because you have too many amateur fights, and that's happened in a few people's cases where they've had too many amateur fights. So when they've gone professional, it's over. They've gone stale because they had too many amateur fights. So that's quite enough. 35 is quite a lot of fights, really, in my opinion. So yeah.
So how old are you, Emma, if you don't mind me asking?
I've turned 26. I turned 26 in September now.
Right, so you're still a nice young. Nice, good age for professional turning pro.
Yeah,
then,
really. Totally agree.
Turned pro literally last about when I was 25, and obviously because of this year, I was supposed to get a load of fights in this year, but can't really fight at the moment. I mean, everyone's fighting. That's the only fight we're doing.
Yeah, COVID's kind of wrecked it for a lot of people this year. I know we talked to a lot of professionals, and a lot of them are due to make like their debuts as well. You know, and a lot of the guys and girls just they can't because so many events are being cancelled up and down the country. You know, and I know anyway, we'll come on to that later. Let's find out a little bit more about you. So obviously you've had 2 professional fights. Is that right?
Yeah, correct.
And how did you find that transition from the amateurs to the professionals? Did you find it, which discipline did you prefer, or did you prefer?
I mean, I'd say professional boxing any day of the week. I loved it. As soon as I turned over, everything was so much better suited to me, because as an amateur boxer, you get them amateur boxers that are really just like twitchy and they punch and they keep moving. And I was more of them slow boxers that like throwing the screw shots and the power shots and a bit more slick.
Okay.
So as soon as I turned over, I thought, yeah, this is my cup of tea. I can take my time in the ring, longer rounds. Well, I was fighting 3-minute rounds anyways, but now you get more rounds to fight. So I got more rounds to work in. I was a bit, not a slow starter, but I always settled into my fights. So after the first round, I really turned on, second, third, fourth, like in sparring and whatnot. So the transition for me has been brilliant. It's like, it's been really good.
Okay, like in the 2 professional fights you've had, what did you fight? 4-3, 6-3s?
I thought the first one, both of them been 4-3s, but I wanted the next.
Okay.
And the next one's going to be 6-3s. Hopefully, we're going to step up.
Yeah. Well, doing the 4-3s rather than doing a 6-2s, it's a lot better, isn't it? Because you can take your time. You got more time. Whereas sometimes when you start professional in your first few fights, you can have 6-2s, even 4-2s, and that's quite fast. So 4-3s is I see what you mean.
Yeah. 4-3. I loved it. Like, it was brilliant for me. I just warmed into it. I mean, the first one was a good fight. Obviously, for your debut, you're really nervous. So
yeah,
I was if I could say that.
Go for it.
So your next fight, are you going to step it up again to 6-3s this time?
Yeah, I'm going to request it to be stepped up, because me, even the 4-3 felt a little bit rushed for me, because I really turn on second round, and then when I go to my body feels warm and I feel like I can just start the sprint, if you know what I mean.
Okay, yes, I do know what you mean. But it's a lot different. I know in this situation, if you got to sort of slow yourself down, you got to plant your feet rather than with the 2s. It's like a rush. It's like a sprint.
100%.
Yeah, the 3s are like a more like a marathon, isn't it? Rather than a sprint. Yeah. Excellent stuff.
Experience there, Mr. Mental.
Excellent, brilliant stuff. That's brilliant stuff.
So, where do you train out of, mate? Which gym are you with?
So I train with a club in High Wycombe called Wycombe Warriors. I trained with my head coach, his name's Stuart Scott. We've been together since I first started boxing. Literally at the age of when I stepped in the gym. Like, I had my first fight at 16. I stepped into the gym at 15. Literally had my first fight at 16. So I've been training with him since then. Literally since the start, we've been together. And we've got a good chemistry. We work well together. So I thought, if it's not broken, let's not fix it. There's no point moving to like a different coach like a lot of amateurs do. I thought we're going to stay. It's working for me, so hopefully we can go all the way.
I mean, that's something you were talking about when, wasn't it, Arv? I mean, with going that transition from amateur to professional ranks, you were saying sticking with the same coach. That's a good thing, because you know
it's a fantastic thing. If you can stick with your amateur coach and turn over professional, it's the best thing you can do, Lakey, because he knows what you like, and he ain't going to try and change you. When you change over from amateur gyms and you go with professional gyms, it takes it out of you. It's so different. They change you so much and try and slow you down. It's so hard, you know what I mean? And if you can stay with your amateur coach, which I know 1 or 2 people have, it puts you in good stead. You know what I mean? You can't beat it. It'd be better if things work that way, but it don't go that way. Once you finish with your amateur coach, majority of the time, you got to train over and go with a professional coach rather than stay with your amateur coach. And I'd soon rather stay with my amateur coach, to be quite honest. He knew everything about me.
And what about promotions wise? Have you got yourself a good promoter, or?
So at the moment, I haven't got a promotion or a promoter. I've got a manager. My manager is Steve Goodwin. He's quite like renowned in the whole small scene. He's a really good manager, and literally few people. He ran me through the first meeting I had with him. He ran me through everything. First time I spoke to him, I was sold to him, and he's a brilliant guy. He's lovely, and honestly, he's like you don't really get really sincere managers, but he's quite sincere, and he's quite doesn't just say what you want to hear. Like he actually is the realist, and he's a really good manager.
He's supportive of everything. Yeah, explain why things are being done, maybe, you know, rather than just doing it and telling you about it after. I mean, that was another thing. I mean, you obviously got a wise head on young shoulders, because, you know, when I, again, talking to Arv, and we've talked to a lot of fighters on the show over the, you know, the last few months, and a lot of it, and I'm sure Arv will back me up with this one, a lot of it is like we were saying, Arv, that you know, if a fighter starts their career with the wrong manager in place, it can have a really negatively impact.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah, how their career can pan out, for want of a better word. So if you've got a good
definitely
manager, you know, hopefully, you know, and obviously you're a very confident young man, can tell that just from the interview. You know, you've obviously got a lot of, you know, confidence in your ability, which is what you need to have, you know.
Oh,
really.
definitely
In boxing, that's in life, I think, you know.
Agree.
So if you've got a good manager in place, I'm sure you're gonna do well. So I mean, you were going to tell us a little bit about. I mean, obviously you've got no fights lined up at the moment, I presume, due to this shitty COVID.
Yeah, nothing like solid lined up, but I've been in talks with manager, and I think the small hall scene is looking at early next year, so maybe like March time. I think they're going to put it back on. So I'm just going to keep in good stead, and I'm always going to stay taking over. So as soon as I get the call saying, "Oh, you've got a month to fight," I'm ready. And I could fight. If someone tells me to fight tomorrow, I'm fit enough to fight. The only problem might be the weight. Maybe I have to lose a bit of weight, but apart from, I'm good to go.
That Amar Kayani, that's a good thing, because, you know, like I was thinking, I didn't think that there was anything yet to do with small hall shows starting back due to what's going on. You know, I mean, we know there's TV shows, but even with TV shows, they've got no audience, you know. So I thought they were going to be, you know, if you don't get on that, you don't really got any hope. And if there's small hall shows starting back shortly, then that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I've lost the train of thought of the question. You were talking about small halls, but
sorry.
I mean, obviously, no, it's fine, Arv. It's not you, it's me. I'm getting old, mate. It's nothing you. It's me. You know? But I was gonna say, you know, have you found? I mean, if you haven't got a promoter at the moment, does that mean you're a free agent?
To an extent. I mean, I'm open for promoter to approach me, but at the moment, my manager kind of takes care of everything. My head coach Stuart, he helps take care of everything. So they just tell me when to fight, and I just go and perform. And I'm sure if I keep performing and keep knocking people out and looking good doing it, I'll have some promoters knocking on my door sooner or later. Really, after any particular promoter, if anyone likes to look at me and they want to approach me, like, I'm more than happy to go to whoever, to be fair. But I'm happy as it is right now, and as long as the ball's rolling and I'm fighting, my time's gonna come. I mean, everything's written, so I'm not in no rush to get signed to like a massive promotion company.
Okay, brilliant stuff. So listen, Amar Kayani, any idea when you will have a fight? Any idea at all when you will have a next fight?
I'm in the assumption it's going to be towards like maybe March next year, March, April. I know kicking off, so we're just going to see how that goes. And small little shows, what happens with the rest of them? I think we're going to follow suit when the rest of them do it. I mean, unless my manager rings me and says there's a closed behind doors event and you're going to fight someone, then I'll be more than willing to fight, even if it's another prospect or someone else that's 2-0, 3-0. I mean, I'm willing to take risks, and I'm confident in my ability that I'm not going to lose against another guy that's undefeated. So a lot of fighters, they kind of cage their record until they can get like a title, a strap title. But I mean, if you're good enough to fight, and if you got belief in yourself and you're sparring well and fighting well, I think I can take some risks early on and see where it takes me. I'm confident I'm gonna win my step up fights.
Totally agree. Good, brilliant stuff.
And what about sparring and stuff at the moment? I mean, you're obviously in the gym ticking over at the minute. You know, even though you haven't got a fight lined up for sure at the moment, you're obviously in the gym most days, training. You know, are you getting some good sparring in at the minute? Yeah, we're getting quite a bit of sparring in. It's just like whatever my coach can arrange for me. I'll have my friends come over. I've had a couple of other pros from Luton come in. I had Josh Gooden come a few weeks ago, Ali Malik. We went up to Adam Booth's gym, did a few rounds with Josh Kelly. So we just keep rotating. Whoever's available for sparring, we go down. Obviously, it's early doors yet. We don't try to kill each other. No. We just do 6 threes or whatever we could do. Yeah,
I was gonna.
Go on. I'm sorry, mate.
Okay.
I interrupted you.
It's all right. I was going to say, I bet you find it hard to keep ticking over, not having any fights, not knowing when you're going to fight next. You find it hard to sort of keep training, not knowing when the next fight's going to be. That's a bit hard, isn't it? How do you find that? How are you getting on with that?
Yeah, to an extent, but I've kind of conditioned my mind to just train every day. If I don't train one day, I feel like, not depressed is the wrong word, but I feel like I'm missing something in my day. So if I don't go for my morning run, if I don't do my strength conditioning in the evening, I just can't sleep properly. It's like
yeah, niggles you, doesn't it? Niggles you.
Yeah, and what makes up for it is because I'm not on a strict diet at the moment, so I can go have a really hard session and then have some food that's maybe not like the best food, but I'm not watching
I understand
at the moment, so it helps me stay motivated.
Definitely. And so what I was talking to is he your friend Ben White? We was having a chat
Ben
via Twitter about it, and he was talking a lot. I'm moving away slightly from the boxing a bit, but he was talking about your growing up, your early life, and what kind of led you up to. I know you said you went along to the gym with your brother, but did you have a lot of scrapes growing up? Is that a lot of sort of street fights and stuff? Is that how that came up? Or you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, no, literally, that's one of the main reasons I'm actually boxing today. So growing up, going into secondary school, as you know, there's a lot of competition in secondary school. Everyone wants to be the tough kid, and everyone wants to be respected a little bit. I grew up in Slough, where there's like a high knife crime rate. The knife epidemic is really bad here. Everyone wants to be the tough guy. So going into secondary school, I was a bit scrawny, a bit smaller than everyone else. I used to get picked on a little bit, but that wasn't the main reason I started boxing. I started boxing because them kids that used to pick on me, I used to see them picking on everyone else. And I used to think, one of these days, this guy's going to pick on me and I'm going to give it to him. And then originally I went to the gym just to learn to defend myself. So obviously it started off as that, but then things went out of control a little bit. I learned to box. I got quite handy at it. And then it went from me walking past the bus stop and the guy looking at me. Normally I'd ignore it, me confronting the guy and saying, why are you staring at me? And then I'd end up fighting. And as I grew older, I got into my teens. I went to college. I carried on fighting. We ended up having organized fights. So I was like, that guy, if someone was fighting, they'd call me. They'd say, come down to the park. This guy wants to fight with you. We'd organize fights on the computer, through MSN, through text.
From my day.
It was just crazy growing up. So literally we'd go like, even when I went into college, I was still a bit of a loose cannon. I used to be getting into loads of street fights and fighting with fully grown men. Literally, you could have like builders on a work site, and if they were looking at me wrong, I'd end up fighting. I'd be like 17 years old, just completely just wanting to be the tough guy. Yeah. And there was repercussions from that. Now to this day, most of the teeth in my front of my mouth, they're fake teeth. So obviously I'm 26 now, and I had these teeth put in when I was like 19, 20, and now I have to replace the teeth every couple of years, or they turn black because they're not real teeth. There's no blood flowing through them.
Oh dear.
I had operations on my hand. I have like teeth stuck in my hand. But yeah, man, it was crazy growing up. I had it went from me wanting to learn to box to me becoming a really loose cannon, taking advantage of boxing, and just going in the wrong direction. And just a few years ago, basically, when I really started taking the boxing seriously, it was one of the main reasons was because I had like a massive court case, a GBH court case for Section 18 and 21. I just hurt someone. Obviously, I was never the guy that started the problems ever, but them same guys that used to bully me and everyone, now I could fight a little bit. I would stand up for me and my friends. Mm-hmm. But it went to my head. I went to my head and I took advantage of it. I'm not the biggest guy, so when people used to see me come, they used to be like, I'll probably give him a slap around the back of the air and if we just probably just fall over. But as you know, when you know how to box, you know how to punch a little bit. Yeah. And yeah, literally from then I had massive court case. I saw my mum in the court, and the jury, they found me not guilty, but my family was crying. They were really upset about it. I just missed like going to prison for 7 to 8 years. If I was in prison then, I wouldn't be in front of you speaking today. So obviously that prompted me to start focusing more in life. And then I opened up Kayani Camp. And Kayani Camp is actually for the kids that were just like me growing up. So them kids that want to be the tough guy, they come to my training, they come to Kayani Camp, and I can slap them around the back of the wrist and I can tell them, look, it's not worth it. Look at me now. I've got fake teeth in my mouth. I have to replace them, spend hundreds of pounds replacing my teeth every couple of years. Like there's hands, I've got marks on my hands, on my face. And these kids, man, they look up to me a little bit now. They can call me 1, 2 in the morning they can tell me, oh, like they can tell me what's going on, and I can help them get through things now. Because I was in their boots at one point. I was the exact same as them. I was a troublemaker. But now, yeah, we started Kayani camp and I'll start professional boxing just so I can motivate these kids and not lead them down the same path I was. And we can just kind of divert the lane they're going in and put them onto boxing.
That's awesome.
Brilliant.
That's really good. Brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome in itself. I mean, what a great story. I mean, you agree, Arv,
very
life around like that. I mean,
very.
Everyone's been young, and anyone listening to that story that says otherwise, and and pretends like, oh well, I wouldn't have done. Everyone's been young, and we've all been in that position. Obviously, it's different days for kids now because, like you say, you've got social media, and they can all challenge each other to fights and arrange these fights. When I was growing up, I expect it's the same for Arv when we were growing up. It was if you someone in town you didn't like, and you had a fight. But now it's raised very, very technological. It's
true. The only thing is, guys, is the man who learns to defend himself, he's the one who always gets in trouble. The bully who comes to attack you and you defend yourself, you're the one who always gets in trouble, not the bully. Is the man who's learned to defend himself or gets in trouble, and it always seems to be the case.
100%. It's very true, because a lot of the kids that come Kayani camp now to my training camp, when they first come to the training camp, they will bring little knives in with them, and I could see them sticking out. I was like, obviously I take it off them or confiscate it.
Yeah.
But bad kids. These weren't just like naughty kids. These were really bad kids, carry knives, sell drugs. These are the kids that were coming into Kayani camp. And I always tell them the same story. I don't like mentioning no names, but when I was growing up, I got into an altercation with someone, and then obviously being a boxer, I ended up hitting a guy a few times, knocking him out. He came back later with a massive knife, and he chased me. He chased me around the whole of Tesco. And God forbid, obviously, it's a really bad story, but literally 2 weeks later, the same guy was found, he passed away, and because of knife crime. And I tell him the story: if you're going to carry a knife, it's going to end up backfiring on you, because a lot of the times you're going to end up getting stabbed. So that guy who I had an altercation with years ago, he was found dead 2 weeks later, just by, maybe it was his knife. Obviously, I don't want to go into the details of it, but it's a wake-up call. So it's one of the things.
You're being a mentor. You're being a mentor, for want of a better word, And so the Kayani camp, where do you run that? Have you got like your own premises to do? Is it like a gym area, or do you run it in a local youth club or somewhere like that?
Yeah, for the basically we've been running this since 2016. Before that, the kids were coming to. We were kind of just doing pad work. We were just getting to spar each other in my garden. But in 2016, me and my older brother Zaib Kayani, we actually started renting a hall, just funded it ourselves. And we'd have kids come down twice a week, Tuesday and Thursdays. And at first, it just started for the really bad kids. But then we started getting loads of talent coming in through the doors, like these really good young kids and teenagers and adults that were coming in. We're like, yo, this can go quite far, because these kids are really good. So we've done it since 2016. Obviously, we did it up till now, 2020. And then the epidemic hit. Obviously, Corona, we had to stop everything. But now, hopefully, because of the way things have turned out and it's got really busy, we should be opening, hopefully early next year, a proper amateur boxing club where we can just literally grow loads of talent and just keep an eye on kids and just take it from there, literally.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. Well done.
Yeah, very good.
I mean, you're doing a good, obviously, alongside your own fledgling boxing career, you're obviously looking after other people in your community as well, which can only be applauded for that. I mean, that's a big thing. I mean,
awesome, that.
I mean, I've been a strong advocate for years that I know boxing in schools should be reintroduced and things, because it does. I mean, I'm sure you'd agree that it instills that kind of discipline in kids. It gives them something.
I agree.
And they can get rid of that anger. Someone's very angry, inside they're an angry person. Then just hitting a punch bag for 10 rounds on a punch bag is just enough to probably get that, especially in kids when they've got loads of energy. They can get rid of that energy in the punch bag, and hopefully learn some discipline from guys like yourself, and hopefully choose the right path in life, and then they won't need to pick up knives and be going out and threatening each other. It's always going to be there, that kind of crime, but hopefully if you can catch a few of them before they get to that point and get them on the right path, be it boxing. That doesn't mean they need to become a boxer, but it might just help them with choose another career path, get better at school. Those things come
100%.
Yeah, so congratulations. Well done to you. Well done to you, man. I mean,
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
I mean, have you got any? I mean, obviously we need to concentrate on your boxing career as well. So, I mean, fingers crossed for you on that one. I mean, have you got any messages you want to give out? I mean, any shout outs or anything you want to give out before we sort of wrap up? Or?
Yeah, actually, you know what I do? Actually, I want to shout out Wycombe Warriors Boxing Club. They've been with me since the start. Kayani camp obviously is my camp, and my brother will help run it. I've got a sponsor that's been helping me since the very start, since I've been an amateur. And obviously, there's been hard times with the virus, and businesses haven't been as busy, but they've still been supporting me and helping me. I want to shout out STX Tuning, like the number one tuning, literally company in, I'd say, the UK. They're brilliant. They do supercars and everything. And I've got like, do you know what cupping is? Hijama, when they put the cup up and they suck the blood out.
Yeah. Seen that. That's a bit freaky, but yeah, isn't it?
Yeah. I've got like a hijama company that sponsors me called Hijama Specialist, and they're brilliant. They always keep me in tip-top form. So shout out Hijama Specialist. He always does my back and my leg before my fights.
Doesn't that leave like marks, like round circles on your skin? Makes you look like you've got some sort of like a jigsaw.
Yeah, no, yeah, it leaves marks, but they gradually fade. But to be fair, when people see that in a fight, they get really freaked out. Like, yo, this guy's been proper training.
I bet.
And also, shout out Ben, man. Without Ben, this wouldn't be possible. Ben's brilliant. He's joined the team recently, and hopefully we can do big things together.
Excellent. Yeah, he's a nice lad, Ben. We're trying to get him to do a bit more with us as well. We told him he's quite a talented writer, isn't he? We've said,
brilliant.
He's writing some articles for us, and we can put them on the website. So, but yeah, I mean, it's been a pleasure to talk to you this evening, and obviously, awesome. It'd be great to get when keep in touch with this. I think is the message I'm trying to give you, because we love to give a platform to up and coming fighters like yourself. So, we like to keep in touch. We're not one trick ponies. We don't just want the one interview and send you on your way. So, feel free. We'd love to get you back on another date. When you're fighting again, keep in touch, and we can obviously update people to your progress, and hopefully you're going to go onwards and upwards, which is what we all can wish for you.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm definitely going to keep in touch, and I'll be sending some tickets out to you guys when I get a fight date. So I want to see you down there.
Well, I'm not a million miles away from you, but Arv, he's in the Midlands. But that was the other question I had for you, actually, because where you are, do you know do you go down to places like the Johns before we go? This was the thought that was it. I told you, as you get older, mate, your brain goes. The Johnny Edwards gym down in Guildford. Do you go that way at all?
Oh, I have heard of that gym, but I haven't been there yet. Yeah, that's meant to be a really good gym, classy gym, but I haven't had the chance to go down there. But I will. I'm pretty sure Guildford's not very far from me, so I'm sure we're going to get.
It's got some good fighters in there. I was just thinking, because we've interviewed Johnny and a lot of his fighters previously, and I'm just thinking, geographically, it's not a million miles for you there. So this might get sparring down there. So I'll give Ben the details for you. You might better get down there and get in there and see Johnny.
I'd really appreciate of good stuff about that gym too, man. So if they're welcome in the gym, I'll be more than happy to go there, man. Them guys.
I've got your number now. I'll pass it on to you. I'll give you Johnny's number. There you go. Sorted. We're done. They're brilliant. All right, mate. Well, take care.
Take care, Amar Kayani. Nice one.
Look forward to catching up with you again.
Pleasure, brother.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for speaking to me today, man. Both of you have a good evening. Have a good rest of the day.
You as well. Thank you very much. You too. Top man.
Yeah.